question, but I think you're in a great position to contemplate it. So we have this remote situation where the entire remote model, people view it in an entirely different way. It's much more viable. It's much more credible. People feel better about it compliance-wise. But the other big part of it is now you have recruitment happening beyond a home country. So you could be a Costa Rica provider recruiting people throughout Central America or, the entire Latin American region. What implications does that present? And just for example, if I'm a top-notch software engineer in Mexico, would I not be more comfortable working for still a Mexican firm versus one in, say Colombia? Have you had these kinds of conversations, and what do you see unfolding from here?
Well, coincidentally, Kirk, I actually just got an inquiry about 2 minutes ago from a US tech company. And what their message basically said was, we can't find the software developers we're looking for. We want to basically find them in Latin America. Firstly, yes, the companies based in the US or wherever else are open to hiring in Latin America. So that's good. In regards to what sort of eventual model they choose, etc., all very interpretation based on businesses. But, what is the complication with that? Well, in many cases, you've got a language barrier to start with. A caveat that's always required is they must have excellent English, which is good and presents a lot of opportunities. But as we all know, in Latin America, not everybody has great English, and it obviously varies between countries and even between capital cities and secondary cities. So that presents something. Another thing is for US companies to understand that employees in Latin America are provided by law a significant number of employment benefits, such as pension, healthcare, etc. So having US companies that are looking to do business in the region and through a whatever model, getting their head around these types of aspects is something for them to consider. It's not a matter of I've agreed to pay the person $2,000 a month. It's going to cost me $2,000. It's actually probably going to cost them closer to $3,000 when you add all these benefits and things in. So that's something the second. And the third factor, which is sometimes why it is attractive more to use a bot-type model rather than a PEO where you're hiring these employees, etc., is understanding or willing to accept employment legislation is different within the region compared to the US. And in that way, it has some positives and negatives. So what we find with a lot of our clients is they say, great, we want to proceed down this model, blah, blah, blah. But then they actually ask us, can we prepare them an employee, let's call it Idiot's Guide to Employment Law in the country, is something that we see quite a lot of. So trying to bridge that gap so their local HR teams can understand, what they can and can't do within the local context. So that's what we see. These are just some simple things, and everything is quite navigatable, if that's even a word, I'm not quite sure, but there is a way to navigate these things, but it just requires a little bit of open-mindedness and, to be fair, a little bit of patience. But what we find, generally speaking, in this market where US firms cannot find the talent they're after, they're definitely coming to us. I think this presents opportunities for all the different panelists and the different companies and things they're involved with in supporting this for good outcomes.